Well, good day, y'all. Ira Epstein, and I'm not in the screen today because I am out of town at this point. I'll be out most of the week. And I did want to get, when I have time permitting, which I do today, to get these updates out for you as I normally do. So, welcome aboard. We're going to get the June import-export price data on Tuesday morning at 7:30. Redbook Group will come out with their weekly retail sales, which popped up last week surprisingly, but that comes out 7:55. The National Association of Home Builders released their monthly housing index tomorrow at 9. It's expected to go up 1 point, and the API numbers will come out at 3:30 in the afternoon, and at 9:30 in the morning on Wednesday we will get the EIA numbers. Now, as we know, we're dealing with the event of an assassination attempt on President Trump. We are dealing with him making his choice for his vice president running mate, which will be J.D. Vance. As I understand it, Mario Rubio, as you know, lives in Florida. The president lives in Florida. And as I understand it, the law is you cannot have the VP and the president residing from the same state. So that knocked him out. And I don't know what happened with Tim Scott. So the convention has kicked itself off. We will see very shortly center stage taking the president. The nomination is formally for him. So now he has to speak, he has to accept it, and then the race is beginning from that point of view. And then shortly thereafter, we will get near where I live, believe it or not, the Democratic convention. And they have already repaved every street. The signs are up new. The neighborhood's like it hasn't looked in years, unfortunately, and they've moved all the people. And I have to say this, the vast majority of the migrants will be moved away from where they can be seen. So, it's quite interesting how these things go. All right, so we're talking about the metal markets, and obviously the gold market, as you could see, got a pretty strong bid. The copper market down hard. Now, the copper was down hard today because the news out of China over the weekend was more contraction. Later in the week, we start the third plenum out of China, and they've got to figure out how they get their economy going. So will the news surprise this week? I don't know. If they don't do enough, the market will look at it as a negative. If they do something surprisingly good, that'll be different. You can see that all the other metals, the silver and the platinum, were down. The dollar index gained modestly on the day. The Japanese yen held up a little bit. So let's go and take a look, if we could, at the charts. And the first chart we've got is our weekly chart of closes. And as you could see, the market is sitting here nicely over that number. The bias remains up until you close under that. When we step over to the next chart, which is the daily bar chart by itself, the pattern, as you can almost see here, is a stepping ladder to the upside as the market has moved itself higher. The swing line, when we take it, moves right with it, higher lows, higher highs. So the trend is intact until you take out the lows of this day, 2396.10. When we go to the very next chart, you can see that when you look at the moving averages, the 18-day moving averages right here, the 100 and the 200. So everything is lined up bullish. So where might the resistance be? The logical spot is the upper Bollinger Band, which is what the market's fighting with right now. It's having trouble getting and staying over this number. The band is 24.30.60. It closed back under it, and it has hit this band 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. So it's what I call the gorilla glue trade, which means that the market's probably going to force the gold to be embedded. And now what you're doing is you're taking both numbers and trying to get them to this point. As of the close of business today, Monday, both numbers were over 80. We need 3 days for it to embed. Then I say it's even stronger than you think. We're not there yet. We're at a resistance point. In the gold silver, notice that I've changed the color here to gold. And the reason I did it that way is that you are looking at a market where you're over the 18-day average. I'm going to pull this out so you can see if I can get this to grab. It should. There we go. You get to see what the numbers are. You're closed at 78.51. The 18-day average is 77.84. And therefore, you have a bullish bias. And therefore, the higher this goes, the more ounces of silver you need to get 1 ounce of gold. When we look at silver, look at the different picture here. You've had two run-ins with the upper Bollinger Band failing. If the market takes out tomorrow 30.62, which isn't very far, it's 30 cents away, then you're probably going to go back and fight a battle at the 18-day average of closes. You're not remotely trying to get the slow stochastics to embed. In the copper market's battleground is the 18-day average of closes. This trend can turn down if prices get underneath right here, the 447.60 level, right? What I keep pressing, look on the top, you can see that. If that happened, you'd have lower highs, lower lows. If you closed under 448.65, you'd open up the door to get to the 100-day average of closes, which is 439.42. Next, we've got the October Platinum. And the market, as I thought yesterday, should hold the 18-day average. It did not. You slipped underneath the low, look at the top, 998.10 from Friday. You got underneath that today, which now means you got a higher high and lower low. You have no trend, and you don't need me to tell you the battleground is right here, and you keep narrowing in the Bollinger Bands where you haven't got a play really going on. Next, we come to the SEP dollar index, where the major support should have been, and so far it's holding, the 200-day average in the Bollinger Band. What you thought might hold first was right here, and it did a terrible job of it the first time it hit it, both the 100-day average and that on Thursday the 11th. You see that? So now you've been running the band. Again, it's what I call the gorilla glue trade. You might force this market to embed. Both numbers are, as you can see here on the bottom, both numbers are under the 20 area, but they have to do that for 3 sessions in a row, so I'm not convinced you'll do it. You keep hearing me tell you about the importance of running these Bollinger Bands. I have a course that I teach on it called the Enhanced Bollinger Band course, and all you need to do is go to our area on our website at iraepstein.com under Education, or take a look at this and learn a bit more.
Welcome. I'm Ira Epstein, and I'm here to talk about my Enhanced Bollinger Band course. Now, many of you have taken my regular charting course, and if not, you might think you know something about Bollinger Bands. As you know, Bollinger Bands are an algorithm designed to keep the market trading within it 95% of the time, and on a chart, it will offer on the top part resistance, on the bottom support, and the idea is the market will travel within them. We know that sometimes it latches onto that band, goes up or goes down. Well, how do you play with that? Can you pyramid the positions off that type of thinking? Well, I've applied all 3 of these into 13 different videos that teach you my concept of it. And from that concept, you're able to work with weekly charts and or daily charts. The 13 videos, each about 7 minutes long. The idea here is not to put you in school forever, but to teach. Now, if you haven't tried my complete futures research, I throw that in as well. Whether you've tried this or not, I think it's worth taking a look at. I think you're going to learn something from there. That research, by the way, covers twice daily market updates for you and access to what I call window envelope numbers, which I think are very important when looking at these Bollinger Bands. The next part is a trial to our charting software, so you can make your charts look the same way that mine do. It's that simple. Where do you go with it and how do you get all this? It's simple. You go to our website, www.iraepstein.com. If you go to the word education, everything you need is answered there. You can also call my staff. They'll be happy to help you get set up. I'm Ira Epstein, on the road to your education.